graphs. And is this something that you need to memorize? Yes. If I can find it. Parent graphs. And I left it as a Word document so you can add to it. And I'm sending it right now. Somebody give me a thumbs up when you see it pop into the, okay, people are seeing it. So click on that and print it out because we're going to talk about that today. And this is like 2.2. So I'm going to pull it up so you can see what I just sent y'all. Let's go with parent graphs. There we go. This is what I sent y'all. It's not there. There it is. Here's what I just sent y'all. Now, you need to learn these parent graphs. You need to learn what they look like, where the origin is, or where they cross the X and Y axis. These are your basic models. I'm not worried about the sine or the cosine or the tangent. You can leave those off. But I'm going to ask you to add 2 or 3 later on. These are the 8 parent graphs. Will you be tested on this? Yes. Okay. So let's say that they tell us sketch the graph f of x is equal to x squared plus 6x plus 4. Well, I automatically know that it is a quadratic, and I know it's got a y-intercept of 4. So I would sketch this and say, well, the graph might look something like this. Might look something like this. It might look something like this. Or it might be on there like that. In other words, you know it's a parabola because of the square. All right, so that's why you need to know the parent graph sheet. So make sure you know this sheet. Now, we're going to do a lot of quadratics, and we're going to do some other things too, but we're going to do 80% quadratics and about 15% cubics, and the rest may be absolute and reciprocal, and we're going to do logarithms and exponentials later. Okay, so right now, these 2 right here are the main attractions for Unit 1. Okay, now, there's kind of, and I told you this before, I kind of put chapters Unit 1 and Unit 2 tests together. And I do that in my Math 110. So Unit 1 and Unit 2 will probably be given, the test will be probably given together. And a lot of you saying, why? Because they cover the same material. Okay? One's more complicated than the other. Just trust me on this, okay? It works out better because if I teach you all the material, then y'all can see how both the units work together. All right? Unit 1 is on sketching. Unit 2 is on the completing the square. Now, for example, here are several equations you're going to see in this section. You're going to see f of x is equal to a times absolute value of x plus h minus k plus k. And you might see f of x is equal to a times x plus h quantity squared plus k. And you may see f of x is equal to a times x plus h cubed plus k. And you may see f of x is equal to the square root a times the square root of x plus h plus k, and so on. All right, one more. F of x is equal to a times 1 over x plus h plus k. All right, and this unit, in unit 1, you're going to see a lot of these. And we're going to write down what each one of these letters mean. So with that being said, and yes, my voice is about shot, so you're just going to bear with me. This A, this A, this A, this A, and this A. A is for orientation. Okay, if A is greater than 1, and it can be an improper fraction or a whole number, improper fraction or whole number, you've got stretched along the x-axis and compressed along the y-axis, which causes the function to be wide. If A is between 0 and 1, meaning a proper fraction, then it is compressed along the x-axis and stretched along the y-axis, and it's going to be narrow or skinny. If A is negative, it goes in the opposite direction of the parent graph. I don't have much room for that, but if A is negative, it goes in the opposite direction of the parent graph. If A is positive, it goes in the direction of the parent graph. So that's what A tells you. I didn't mean to take up the whole page with A, but so A tells you what direction it's going, A tells you how wide it is, and A tells you how narrow it is. Everybody with me? So I'm going to put this in blue right here. If A is above 1, meaning an improper fraction or whole number, and if A is between 0 and 1, meaning a proper fraction, then if A is greater than 1, you're going to have a wide function. If A is between 0 and 1, you're going to have a narrow function. And that's what A tells you. Can anybody tell me what H tells us?
Horizontal shift.
Good job. How did you know that? You must have had a real good algebra teacher. H is the horizontal shift. Just curious, did you remember that from Algebra 1 or 2, or where did you remember that from?
I do remember it from Algebra 1 and 2, yes.
How long ago did you take Algebra 1 and 2?
Algebra 1, I took 9th or 10th grade. I think it was 9th grade, yeah.
Okay. And negative means to the right. Positive means to the left. This is the only time where they mean the opposite. Now you need to write that down because some of y'all are going to forget about it. And then when I do the problem, you're going to say, well, wait, why is it to the right and it's negative? You didn't do what I told you. You need to learn this. This is the only time negative is to the right and positive is to the left. And if H is the horizontal shift, what do y'all think K is?
Vertical shift.
Vertical shift.
Y'all are amazing. Positive means up, negative means down. So I'm just going to add a little bit here. K is your vertical shift. And since it's odd, H is your horizontal shift. And what do these guys tell us? Let's see this. What do these guys tell us?
The parent function or graph.
There you go. Exactly. They tell you what function to look at. Some of y'all had some good algebra teachers. If you still remember that, that's good. Or you watched video in Math 110 before today, one of the two. So that's what we're going to spend in the majority of Chapter 2 on, is all of this. Now they spend 2.2, 2.3, I think 2 sections on what I just showed you. Okay, so I'm going to do one right now. Let's do something simple. F of x is equal to 2 or 1/2 absolute value of x plus 3, minus 2. So we automatically know absolute value, absolute vodka, value in vodka start with a what? V. So we know that the parent graph looks like that. So somebody tell me the 1/2, I'm sorry about my voice. The 1/2 tells us what? Is that a proper or an improper fraction?
Proper.
So proper tells us it's what?
It's a stretch.
It's going to be wide.
Or wide.
It's going to be stretched along the x-axis and compressed along the y-axis like a balloon. If you take a balloon and you do this to it, it's going to go out like this. So I'm going to take my blue marker and I'm going to draw my parent graph, except this time I'm going to make it wider because of that 1/2. And this vertical shift means 2 what? Up or down?
Down.
Down.
Down. And then my positive 3 means 3 to the what?
Left.
So there is my new vertex. And if I want to draw it now, and that is your answer. This one right here is your, that's what this means. Now, how many of these you going to see on the test? Probably 4 or 5. Because I want to make sure you understand orientation, vertical shift, and horizontal shift. Question, great, complaint. All right, let's do a narrative. I'm going to let y'all do this one on your own. F of x is equal to -2, parentheses, x minus 2, quantity squared, plus 2. All right, I'm going to let y'all do this one. Give you a minute. It shouldn't take you more than a minute to draw it, sketch it. Remember, you're sketching. It doesn't have to be exact. I did drink some alcohol. I drank some cough syrup before class because this cough is ridiculous. You know how you cough so much, your whole torso is sore? That's the way I've been. And I am not going on campus for my 8 o'clock class and have everybody look at me coughing like I've got the plague. So that's why I did not have class. I had virtual class for my 8 o'clock. These people are paranoid. If you cough more than once, oh my God, people start running away from you. Where's the flu? Does anybody have the flu? Just disappeared. Miss Gill, where'd the flu go? You're working. Well, you work in the field. Where did the flu go?
I have no idea. I think we've only had like one case in the past like 3 weeks, but that's about it. And it was
This is no joke. I went in December. I had the flu like you would not believe because I get it every December. I get it. I don't get a shot. I don't get a shot. I believe in your own immunity. Helps you if you have something. It helps you. And I've never gotten the flu shot. And I went up to had 104 temperature. Went to urgent care. They said we're going to test you for flu and COVID. I tested positive for both. And the nurse said, we're going to put you down for COVID, having COVID. I said, what? I said, I don't have just COVID. I've got COVID and flu. Why are you not putting the flu? We're just putting it down as COVID. I just shook my head. Get them federal dollars. Get that money.
They get way more funding for that.
Say again?
I said they get way more funding for that.
They put me down for COVID, and I had COVID and the flu. So that means if you have a heart attack and die, they're going to put you down for COVID.
You got it.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not disputing COVID's real. COVID is real. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're using it. And if you don't think they're using it for many different things, you've been drinking the Kool-Aid. All right. And if you don't know what Kool-Aid means, it's your parents' fault, and you need to look it up. Drinking the Kool-Aid.
I haven't heard that.
All right. Mr. Bellet, you know what it means, don't you?
Sure do.
Okay. All right, so we got the parent graph, and it looks like this. A parabola. So there's our parent graph. Now, you don't have to draw the parent graph every time, but what I'm trying to get you to do is mentally think of the parent graph when I do this. Now, you can draw it if you want to. I don't care. But there's the parent graph, and this, I'm going to take my highlighters. Excuse me. I'm going to use purple because we haven't used purple. I'm going to color this. Well, negative means what? It's going the opposite what? Going the opposite direction. That's what the negative tells us. What does the A equal to 2 tell us? That's blue. What does A equal to 2? Is that greater than 1 or less than 1?
Greater than.
So that means it's going to be compressed along the x-axis and stretched along the y-axis. So it's going to be more narrow or skinnier than the regular parabola. And what kind of, let's see, the pink is horizontal shift. 2 to the what?
Right.
So 1, 2, and 2 what? 2 up. So now that blue one goes right here, and your final answer looks like this. So that is f of x is equal to negative 2 x minus 2 quantity squared plus 2. And that's how you do the parent graphs, vertical, horizontal shift, and orientation. And I probably just covered 3 sections. I'm going to look here in just a second. In fact, let's look right now. 3.4, main course, 110. This logging me out is freaking me out. I need to quit logging me out of stuff. I'm important. All right, 110. And let's look at e-text. And let's look at 2.2. 2.2. You can do it. And chapter 2.2. Yeah. Stretching absolute value. Okay, I've covered 2.2 or 2.4, but we'll look at it. Vertical shifts. Horizontal shifts. We're showing you more vertical and horizontal shifts. That's 2.2. Then 2.3. Stretching, shrinking, and reflecting. And there is compression along the x-axis, which makes it bow up, and stretching along the y-axis makes it thinner. And vertical shrinking, that means stretching, same thing. Compression along the x-axis is equal to stretching along the y-axis. So yeah, and the next is absolute values. There we go. Shift 4 units to the right, shift 5 up, stretch, and opposite direction. See? This is a piece of cake. And then they show you the same thing with absolute value if we ever get there. There's 2 examples. There's the absolute value right here. Well, there you go. This one is skinnier than the sketch, the parent graph. And that's 2.3. And 2.4 is absolute values. And that basically, they just show you the same thing I just showed you. I'm going to just show it to you right quick so you know what I'm talking about. If I ever get there, good gracious. There. And they're going to show you the absolute value. And where is it? There's where they start showing you right here. And there's absolute value there. It basically looks like a V. Okay, so I've shown you 2.2 through 2.4. So let's look at some of your homework questions and let's see what happens. So let's go to assignments. Let's go to 2.4, 2.2. And I'm just going to pick number 6. All right, here it is. I'm going to blow it up and I want you to do it. And I can't blow it up, so I'm sorry. What I'll do is I'll rewrite it for you right here so you can see it. So y is equal to x plus 3 quantity squared minus 2. All right, I want you to sketch that out for me. And let me check on Mr. Dong. Did he ever get in? Let me check to see if he got in.
I'm here.
What was wrong? The reboot took care of it?
Yeah.
Good job. You're a winner. While y'all were doing that, well, I'll take the roll later. Yeah, well, I need to take the roll here in a few minutes because it's getting toward 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock. So we've got a parent graph because that's 1. So this means parent graph. So as far as the width and the height and it's a parent graph. So you just draw a cubic function here like that. I mean a parabola, which is a quadratic. There we go. And the only thing you got to worry about now is the horizontal shift and the vertical shift. And there is your graph. So it's in the third quadrant. So we look for the third quadrant. And, oh, is that cube? Oh, okay, that's cube. So, well, I just did a different problem. This is a different problem. Okay, so we'll do a cube next. Okay, so just add this, add that as a square. This is a different problem. Now I'm going to do a cube because I didn't read the directions very well. Y is equal to 1 times x plus 3 cube minus 2. So here is your, and this is a parent graph, so you know it's not stretched or anything. There's your parent graph of the cube. And hold on a second. Cat's been playing with my, I have cats that play with my, I have one cat that plays with my stuff on the desk here. I have to hide my mouse because he plays with the mouse and knocks it on the floor and it busts into 2 or 3 different pieces. His name is Berlioz. He's a long-haired black cat, Berlioz. I have to put a bail on him because I need to know where he's at because he will. I don't know where they are right now. I think they're all when the sun is shining like it is right now, it shines in my bedroom and all my cats lay because I got like 3 windows in my bedroom and they all lay right there in front of them. So they're all in my bedroom probably. But Berlioz, he's a cool cat. He's the one that, I'm the man. He walks through the house. He's the alpha male. All right, so here is plus 3. 1, 2, 3, and minus 2. 1, 2. So now you just transfer, pick this up, and move it over here. That's all you do. That's it. So make sure you know how to do 4 or 5 of these. Now, where are we going with this? I'll show you right quick. I'm going to take a minute and show you where we're going. Okay, right now, you're responsible 2.1 through 2.4 homework. That's what you're responsible for. Okay, and send me questions. The outline, hold on a second. There's the outline, so I can get there. Says we go to 2.5, okay, yeah, 2.5 and 2.6. So we're probably going to have a test next week. Probably have a pre-testing class next week unless I get a bunch of questions. But what do we do in Unit 2? Well, this is where we're heading. Okay, y'all see this question right here. This is what we're heading. Unit 2 for your information. I want you to see why I combined the 2 tests. F of x is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 7 is equal to 0. Well, there we go. That's a quadratic. Right now, the only thing you can tell me is that it's a parabola open and upward, and it crosses the y-axis at -7. But using complete the square, which some of you may remember, hopefully somebody taught it to you, we're going to do x squared plus 4x plus blank is equal to 7 plus blank. Half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. That's going to be x plus 2 quantity squared is equal to 11. And f of x is equal to x plus 2 quantity squared minus 11. Does this look familiar? Somebody tell me what this is. Remember, this is Unit 2. What is this? That means I want somebody to say something.
A quadratic.
It's a quadratic, and what is this?
A horizontal shift.
And what is this? Vertical shift, and this is what? Orientation. So Unit 2 is a continuation of Unit what? 1. So that's why I put the 2 together as far as the test. We're going to be going over this stuff for a long time. So when I said pre-test a while ago, we're not going over it. We're not going over it till probably another 2 weeks. So those of you that like to run around in circles, wondering about the date, you don't need to worry about it for another week or 2. I know that drives you crazy because you want to put off the homework until you know when it's due. Well, can't do that in my class. All right, so that's where we're heading. Right now, you're responsible for this homework. You need to be working on 2.1 to 2.3, I think. I don't think there is a 2.4. I need to check it and put one on there if there is. All right, so with that being said, let me take the roll. Somebody said something. Yeah, I wish I could, but like I said, they're not even, I even fed them this morning and they didn't even, so they're conked out. They're conked out in the sunshine. All right, let me stop recording.